and you've had a chance to watch what? Does that say?
What do you think the country should know about DeSantis?
Hey, what's up, you all? Welcome back. I'm Van. We are all the LFR family. I am here with my friends live on Twitch. Shout out to Heather, Chris and Susie, Angel, Scooby Climbs, Debbie, best auntie ever, just to name a few. Much love to all of them, and much love to you. All right, so y'all let me know whatever y'all want me to know about this one right here. We have not checked out Caitlin Bennett in a while, and I am excited that she is back on the streets doing her thing. Much love to her and the whole Liberty Hangout, and we're about to check this out, man. I'm just excited to check this out.
We're in Florida. We know what's going on with Ron DeSantis,
Yes.
and he's chosen to run for president. We're letting everybody we talk to today, if you have something you want to say to Ron DeSantis or have any opinions to voters out there, please share them with our audience.
Yes, Ron, you need to learn to spread kindness and not hate and be accepting of everyone, all voters. You're not going to get these voters because you're spreading hate and creating bigotry that's unnecessary. We need to put the right people in office, and I'm sorry, Ron DeSantis is not it.
She got on this shirt that says, "Proud mom of a freaking awesome gay." What? What? How about a freaking awesome son who is also gay? Or a freaking awesome daughter who is also gay? Like, okay, I get that you are going strong for the gay community. I love it. Hey, look, have some pride in what you do. Nothing's wrong with that at all. Listen, I'm a pretty fair guy, all right? But to say that I'm a proud mom of a freaking awesome gay, of a gay, okay? So a gay is a person now. A gay is a gender all of a sudden. A gay it just defines whoever you've birthed, all right? And she don't even, okay.
Who do you think would be the right person?
I'm still researching all of the candidates, and I haven't narrowed it down just yet.
Do you think Biden would be a good option, just keeping him in going forward for the next 4 years?
Much better than Trump or Ron DeSantis.
Okay, you've lost all credibility. All credibility, young lady who is a proud mom of an awesome gay. You've lost all credibility. Okay?
Can't say that.
Yes. So you mentioned Ron DeSantis's hate and bigotry.
Yeah.
Can you give me examples of those things that he's displayed?
Don't say gay in school. The ban on different books is ridiculous. Like, I feel that if a parent doesn't want their child to read certain books, they can tell the librarian, don't let my child check out this book.
Right.
But don't squash the, First Amendment right of speech.
Right. So I'm actually glad that you mentioned the book banning, because I feel very, very, very strongly about that. And I was wondering, I kind of want to make like a little montage of people here reading the books that he wants to ban. Kind of like a way of saying, like, you're not going to silence us. We have a First Amendment right to read that. Would you be willing to take like one page of one of the books that he banned? You can hold my phone and read what it says.
Oh, I can't see it. I can't see the words.
Can you see
After
that?
the train has left the station, so to speak, and you've had a chance to watch what? Does that say? Wash up your douche back there. You can have an load of fun with a healthy heaping of lube.
Yeah, so if you keep going.
I'm sorry, what? Is this supposed to be a kid's book? A healthy heaping of lube? What the heck are they talking about in that book?
Down. Do you see what that is a picture of?
Is that an armpit? What is it?
No, that's
I'm assuming?
close. Yeah, so these are some of the books
hard to
that he
see in
wants
the
to
sun.
ban.
So she's looking at a picture. She said, "Hey, is that an armpit?" And she said, "No, close." And she said, "Is it a vagina?" "No, closer. You're getting closer. You're getting closer. It was a booty. It was a booty. Don't judge, Van. I'm not going to judge Chris and Susie, but I'm just.
Do you see that?
Yeah. But these aren't the particular books I was talking about. A lot of them were mandatory reads in our literature classes in middle school.
Do you think something like this is appropriate to be in a kid's school? Pictures of penises and instructions on how to masturbate?
No, not in school particularly.
Okay. So these are the types of books that Ron DeSantis is trying to ban.
Okay, I see where you're going. So you're really a Ron DeSantis. We're done.
It's just...
You see what happened? This is what happened. She realized that she wasn't speaking to to someone who will echo every single thing that she believes, and then she ran. Oh, see, I get it. You're someone that has more information that I don't. I'm out of here. You're trying to set me up. Okay. You got me. You got me good. See, I would have been fine with being ignorant with someone else who was equally ignorant, but you're smart. You should have told me you were intelligent before we had this conversation. And then she ran.
Spinning it. You're coming like you're against Ron DeSantis, and now
I just let you have the floor. Well, these are the books that he wants to ban. I just wanted to know if you're okay with those being in schools. She brought up the book banning, not me.
She did.
And so I had her read some of the books that Ron DeSantis does not want in schools. And she was uncomfortable continuing to read them from me. And then she walked away. So, very first person we talked to, happy Pride, everybody. So, you're trans.
Yeah.
Ron DeSantis is running for president.
Yeah, he's an awful person. He's an absolutely awful person who is vindictive, and he has personal vendettas, and he uses his political office to achieve his personal vendettas. And I think that's absolutely, like, he gets mad at Disney for going against his law, saying that they think that it should be repealed, and then he takes a personal vendetta and uses it against Disney to attack them. So yes, he does use his political office and his power for his own personal gain.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what personal vendetta and what's the drama with Disney? Can you break it down for me?
The drama with Disney, as far as I understand it, is that Disney said that Ron DeSantis passed the Don't Say Gay bill, and Disney said that it shouldn't have been passed.
Okay, right.
And as soon as they said that, Ron DeSantis immediately starts using his office to start taking rights away from Disney, start trying to take away their land rights and all of that.
Ron DeSantis is our governor, and he has decided to run for president. Yeah. And we're letting people here today tell our audience across the country what's the truth about Ron DeSantis and why he would or wouldn't make a good president.
I just feel like the struggle I have with him is that he's very one-sided, very individual-minded, and very old-school-minded in this, like, he just doesn't accept anybody that's different in any way. And I feel like a lot of people, like, yes, it's easy to be like, oh yeah, well, he doesn't accept LGBT. But he has so many problems with so many people, including even women. Like, if you are a woman, how can you vote for him?
What do you think voters should consider as...
If you're a woman, how could you vote for Ron DeSantis? Honestly, don't know all of what Ron DeSantis stands for, but I'm finding that a lot of these rainbow brights, people who dress up like My Little Ponies with a whole bunch of goddamn color all over them to say that they represent whatever they're out there. This pride, they will not notice that I represent pride unless I got on all this sugar honey iced tea, which makes absolutely no sense. And it makes you seem very immature, very childish, very fantasy land, very make-believe, like you're playing a game or something. No one can take you seriously when it comes to what you're speaking on. I would love to hear specifics as to why people don't like Ron DeSantis. And honestly, I don't care if you like Ron DeSantis or not, because I actually would support Trump to run for president than before I would Ron DeSantis. Would that make people not like me for saying that? Probably. I don't care. I still love you. All right. We can have this conversation back and forth no matter, if you want to or not. But I will say this. I don't see anything wrong with the way that he's running things at this point. I don't. Ain't nothing wrong with trying to maintain Christian values, in my opinion. But I'm a Christian, so obviously I'm going to say that.
As a Floridian.
First of all, I really don't think he's going to. I think Trump is a lot more popular, and I really do. I really think, even though I personally do not like Trump, I think that Trump has a backing. I think that Trump has way more of a backing than DeSantis. So I'm really not technically worried about him getting the nomination unless Trump can't run because of the whatever's going on right now. If Trump wasn't able to run, I could see DeSantis winning.
Let's just do that hypothetical.
Yes, but
what do you think the country should know about DeSantis?
I think the country should know that Ron DeSantis is a very insecure man who does not need to be running the country. He's very insecure and very vindictive, and that's not the type of person that we should be electing as our leaders.
Incompetent, not for the community.
Okay.
Just really, I feel like he's really reaching for conservatives and using that to spread it up. He's forgetting about all the people that are from here that are LGBT and, just people here.
So what are some examples of his hate or...
Yeah, before I get on to what she just now said, and I'm not going to do a whole bunch of talking, I promise, but when the other person was saying that Ron DeSantis was insecure and vindictive, I won't call people from the LGBTQ community vindictive. I don't know y'all enough to say that you're vindictive, but I will say that anybody who goes out of their way to look and be something that they are not, and that they were completely born opposite of, that is in and of itself like a definition of insecurity. You're so insecure with yourself and who you naturally are that not only that you go through such great lengths to be something different, but now you want to force other people to acknowledge you as such when they don't have to. This is your journey. This is your life. This is the game you're playing. Nobody else has to play it at all. If you're playing a game of football and you ask me if I want to play and I say no, I prefer playing basketball, guess what? I don't have to play by your rules because I'm not playing your game. That's for the people who are playing it. For all the people that are playing that game, they have to follow those rules. Your insecurity shows like crazy. Now, when this young lady right here says that it feels like Ron DeSantis is doing and saying whatever he has to say in order to get conservatives, that part right there, I believe 1000%. I believe that's what politics is. I believe most politicians, I'm going to stick there. I think most politicians, Ron DeSantis included, does go out of his way to appease a group of individuals that could potentially vote him in office as the president of the United States. A lot of these people, they lie to voters and they will do anything and say anything in order to get the grand prize. Also, most times it's not even about the voters. They use the voters, they appease the voters for their votes. But most times it's about making sure that they come through on their promises for their donors, the people who are paying for them to run, the people who help them raise that amount of money. Is a certain amount of money that you have to raise in order to even be considered as a candidate. And that right there makes it makes it disingenuous. Nothing is done authentically, organically. Everything is done for that dollar. And if it's not done for the dollar, it's done for the vote. So at the end of the day, that one part that she said, I'm rocking with.
His rhetoric against people and LGBTQ.
Just not allowing people to be themselves, like actively trying to squash people from the state that he lives in, just trying to say that they can't say how they feel. They can't talk about their home life, their relationships. Like, they're saying that they're grooming people when they're just talking about their lives. Like, there are kids that have 2 moms and 2 dads. There are kids that are LGBTQ and questioning, and they attend these schools and they live in the state. They were born and raised here. So it's just, and also losing jobs, like the immigration laws that he's doing with like not hiring people and stuff. We need hospitality workers. We need farm workers in this state. We need Disney. These create all these jobs, and he's just not caring.
How about Americans become those jobs? How about people who actually went through the process properly do those jobs? Because there's a whole ton of Americans running around saying, I can't find work. I can't take care of my family. I can't support my family. There's no jobs. And you're saying we need these people to do their jobs. Well, there are Americans who don't have jobs that can do those jobs. Feel free. Go recruit. There's a bunch of people out there who are homeless right now who have chosen to not do a damn thing. And a lot of times you would say maybe it has something to do with their mental health or lack thereof, or drug abuse or something like that. Let me tell you something. It's always going to be a reason for why we do what we do, be it positive or negative, okay? But at the end of the day, drastic change has to happen to make sure that people are not trying to take advantage of the society we pay taxes for. We pay taxes to live in. We pay taxes to make sure that everyone are taken care of. All right? Everyone who also are citizens of this country. We don't pay taxes to take care of people who have snuck in the back gates and are still working and being paid under the table by these organizations and these companies so that they can live a much better life here than they did in their countries. That's not our responsibility. It's damn sure not mine. I didn't sign up for that. So for him to make those laws and make those rules, yeah, I'm sure it's going to hurt a lot of people. But sometimes drastic change has to happen because nobody takes into account, and I doubt this lady right here, if 4 people just walked in her house and said, yo, we're moving in and we don't have anything to give you, you're just going to have to take care of us. She's not going to deal with that. She's not going to give them a job because she probably don't have the money to employ anyone. All right. But soon as someone else makes a decision like that, that's something that I would do if I was in charge of a state. I would do something like that. Because what that does is it brings the criminals from behind the shadows. Because at the end of the day, that's what they are. All right. All right. Somebody sneak onto a ship, they're a stowaway. You got to find them. It's probably not cool to just throw them off the boat, but at the end of the day, you're not going to enjoy this. You're not going to enjoy this cruise like everyone else, and you're also going back to where you came from. As a matter of fact, you're going to be arrested when we find you. He didn't say find them and arrest them. He didn't say that. He's making sure that they are not able to thrive in the shadows and continue to do things the way that they're doing things, because they would thrive in the shadows and pay for other people to come do the exact same thing, and everybody sneaking over and being paid and not paying any taxes, not contributing. I might sound extremely biased when I talk about this, but I'm supposed to, because I don't have the same background as them. I don't have the same understanding as these people who are doing these things.
Right. So he's not caring much. Do you think immigrants are the ones who would do those jobs? Without the immigrants, we wouldn't?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I run the highest funded youth nonprofit in the country called C Alliance. We're here registering voters on both sides of the party, and we're just working to make sure people can access their civic power. Unfortunately, Ron DeSantis has disenfranchised voters across the state of Florida. He's making it hard for young people to vote. He's making it hard for marginalized people to vote, and we need to invest in that. We need to work to make sure everyone, no matter who they are, has a voice in our political process, and Ron DeSantis doesn't care about that. If you don't look like him, if you don't think like him, and if you don't talk like him, he doesn't want you to participate in politics, and we're here to change that.
I'm going to disagree with you, because Florida is very diverse. It has a lot of the Hispanic community.
I know, but
Hold on, bro. When you just now doing all that damn talking, she didn't speak over you once. And this is the problem. Clearly you know how to have a conversation, and clearly you're intelligent, because you were able to express your point without stumbling. You didn't curse. You didn't raise your voice. You was speaking extremely quickly. It's extremely fast. So to be able to get all of that out in one smooth sweep is pretty impressive. But now when somebody give you their point, you need to shut the hell up and listen. Okay, that's a conversation. That's a conversation.
If you look at
how is he preventing marginalized people from voting?
So he's done a lot to disenfranchise marginalized voters. Recently with immigration rules, that's going to make it very, very difficult for any immigrant to touch a voter registration form, and it's going to make it very, very difficult for any organizations who work with the immigrant population to register voters, which is a direct attack on that community, which makes up a large part of Florida and should be represented in our votes, but are not anymore.
But if you're a citizen, you can vote.
Not always. It's very difficult to be able to access voter information, and we're seeing cuts across the board that make it hard for nonprofit organizations to register voters, which means then it is only the state government's responsibility to register voters.
Have the chance to vote. Do you mean it's difficult to get to the voting booth and have information, but they can vote?
But it's also difficult.
But they can vote, right?
Not necessarily. I mean, that's a very simplistic thing. It's like saying, oh, you can drive a car, but it's like, oh, can I afford a car? Can I put gas in the car? It's a very difficult process to be able to register to vote, get that information, complete it to the ballot, and there's a lot of things Ron DeSantis is doing that makes that intentionally more difficult. See, we've seen states that have taken intentional measures to make sure it's easier on a workday to get to the ballot. It makes seen that it's making it easier to find access on voter registration information, but Ron DeSantis is making sure that that is not accessible because he wants to be able to control the amount of people who vote. And it's smart because if you can control the voting population and concentrate it to your ideology, then you're going to be reelected.
Actually, the people who are trying to control voting, and it does sound like he said this many times before, and he's just saying what they say in their group meetings all the time. This is something like, what happens is one side love to create victims. When you create victims, you create supporters. All right. So then you can tout and say, we are the largest nonprofit organization that's getting people to the voting booth. You can brag about that because you're constantly saying there's victims out here who can't do this, who aren't able, who are incapable of, and blah, blah, blah. And she said, well, once they get there, can't they actually vote? Not necessarily. That's like saying that you can drive, but you don't have a car. No, it's not. Okay. It is your civic duty to get out there and vote. Once you're 18 years old, then you should have a plan for your life to not only be able to, at some point, be able to afford transportation, but to be able to perform your civic duty, which is to vote. That's your responsibility once you're 18, okay? What we like to do is we like to pamper adults. We like to act as if they're too slow, they're too soft, they're too weak, you know what I mean? They're too fragile to be able to do what they are expected to do as adults. And then you have individuals like this young man who will speak extremely fast, taking up for all of the oppressed victims who can't vote all of a sudden. That's something that they were doing in New York when they were saying, we got to help the black people because black people don't know how to get their driver's license. Why do they need to have a license in order to vote? They don't even know how to get to the DMV. They don't know how to get to the MVA, Motor Vehicle Administration. All right, so it's crazy, man. You don't have to create victims in order to support your point. And when you do that, you are the person that's doing them wrong. You're doing them a disservice by saying, we'll do it all for you. We'll try to figure it out for you. You don't have to figure it out. You don't have to do it yourself. If you can't figure out how to get to the voting booth, then maybe you shouldn't have a voice. That's just me. You should not, in my opinion, if you're not doing all you possibly can in order to be a productive citizen of this society, then you should not have a damn voice. Why should somebody else have to do every damn thing for you? You are an able-bodied person, human being, adult. Do the work, period. If you got to vote, then, hey, you need to make sure that you take that day to figure it out. You know the days of voting. You know that on this day, we're supposed to vote. I need to register for it. I need to handle my business so I can do this. Why do you need somebody to coddle you in order to do that? I'm not for it, man.
And that's what we have to fight again because I'm sure you believe in individual choice. We want to support every single person's ability to make choices on the ballot.
Everybody knows Ron DeSantis, and he's decided to run for president. Does that worry you, considering what you just mentioned? You thought that everything was going well.
Yeah. Worry is not an adequate expression of how fearful I am of the possibility of him becoming president of the United States for many, many reasons. So today we're getting petitions signed to get the woman's right to choose on the ballot. And to stop the 6-week ban, because so many people don't even know they're pregnant or that they've got a severely deformed fetus that won't be viable.
Okay.
So yeah, it scares the death out of me.
Okay. Is there... Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead.
We're sisters. She's the warrior.
Yes.
I live on hope. Ron DeSantis has no...
She's been working on that one. Ron Disaster, huh? Listen, shout out to this old lady right here, because Ron Disaster is better than Ron DeSanctimonious. I don't give a damn what you say, okay? I like Trump now, but Ron DeSanctimonious, nah, not good. Ron Disaster, that's better in my opinion.
No chance of becoming president of these United States because he has shown his color. We don't need to know what he's going to do. He has shown us.
Yes. Is there any one particular thing that worries you the most? You run on hope. But is there any? So, do you think the abortion issue is the number one issue for you when it comes to Ron DeSantis?
I have to say, even more than that, I just worry about how the integrity of government agencies is being torn down, and I think that we can count on DeSantis to keep that rolling. Mm-hmm. So that worries me the most. And then I would say just the rights being rolled back for everybody: women, gay people, trans people.
And how heartless some of these politicians are. I was just telling my sister, I saw a film clip of George Wallace being interviewed way back when he was running for president, and he was asked, why do you go out and just talk about
racism?
Mm-hmm. And his answer was, I tried talking about roads, I tried talking about laws, but when I say the N-word, everybody stomps their feet. And that's what DeSantis is doing.
I think Ron DeSantis is a fascist.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How so?
I think that he's pushing a lot of hateful laws, and he's allowing people to feel the need that they can hate on people just because of who they are.
Okay.
Which is
what
wrong.
Laws are those?
Like the Don't Say Gay law, and making children feel like they aren't allowed to be themselves. I don't think that kids should know about sex, but I think kids should know that they're allowed to feel differently.
Okay.
There's a lot of gay youth, and it's really confusing.
Kids have known for a long damn time that they're allowed to feel differently. I was born in 78, raised in a harsh environment. And yes, we made fun of people who were different. And guess what? The people who were different made fun of other people who were different. And we got along okay. And guess what? Nobody was daggone taking themselves up out of here. Like when I was coming up, when y'all claimed it was the worst, people was harsh. Ask me how many people was committed back then. Not a whole lot, okay? And not a whole lot of parents were saying, oh, you want to play with that doll baby and you're 2 years old? Maybe, and it's just me, but maybe you're actually a girl. I know you were born with a ding-a-ling, but I'm going to start buying you nothing but dresses now so you can express yourself. Oh, you're 5 years old and you want to play with Sally and Susie more than you want to play with Billy and Bob? Then guess what? Maybe you're a girl. And we need to change this up right now before it's too late. No, you don't have to do that. Here's the thing. It's not called hate if you're saying we love you, but don't force that BS on the children. That's not it. All right? That's understanding that adults are trying to force a narrative on children and make them move in a direction that they want to move them before the kids are before they're mature enough to figure it out themselves. And that's how it should be. Let them be mature enough to figure it out themselves. Just because a girl is a tomboy does not make her a lesbian. All right? It makes her a tomboy. I know many beautiful women who are married with children who were tomboys when they were kids. They didn't like to do anything but play with the boys, be around the boys, play basketball with the boys. They used to like to fight, or they didn't like to jump rope and do all that girly stuff. Ain't nobody just say, oh, we need to protect you because you're part of the LGBTQ ABCD community. We need to make sure that you're okay and that they're not trying to make fun of you. No, we let them be a tomboy. You can't it's not even about letting, because it's not our power to let anybody do a damn thing. All of us have our own journey. All of us have our own path to walk, right? But you support people by doing just that. You let them be, all right? But you still guide them based off of how they were born. If they were born a male, I'm going to teach you how to be a man. That's what I'm going to do. If you were born a young lady, I'm going to teach you how to be a woman. All right? I'm going to raise you to be a young lady. When you're older and you decide that you have an affinity for other girls and that you care for them the way that you would ordinarily care for the opposite sex, then we will handle it at that point. But you don't look at nobody that's 9 or 10 years old and see them playing or see them wearing a pink socks, and now all of a sudden you want to get their dingling cut off. Come on now. That's what people are saying. You all are being way too dramatic about it. Like, we need to make sure that they are appreciated. We make sure they got 2 moms and they need to know that it's okay to be gay. They're going to know that already. People are intelligent enough to figure sugar honey iced tea out themselves, even as children. But it's you all, it's the LGBTQAI plus community that don't trust, that don't fully support these children. That's who don't fully support these children. That's just my opinion.
Not knowing that it's okay to feel the way that you feel, and I feel like it's making a lot of young gay children feel like they're not allowed to feel that way.
So do you think the bill literally has in there you cannot say the word gay in a public school?
From what I've read, they have the bill to where teachers are not allowed to talk to students at all if they want to open up about their own personal gender identity. They have to report that to parents, which can be really dangerous, and a lot of kids will get their asses beat just for wearing pink. So.
Do you think it's appropriate for do you think it's appropriate for a parent to know about that if a child is questioning their identity?
Not always, because like I said, it can be very dangerous for the children.
Could it be dangerous the other way around if they're feeling this confusion and they're questioning and they go to a teacher who is, I mean, let's be honest, they're strangers. We don't know who they are. We don't know their personal lives. We don't know if they have a certain point of view that they want to push on children. Don't you think that that should be left up to the parents rather than someone who is not a family member, not a trusted source, because they're at the end of the day a stranger?
I think the idea of teachers being a stranger is a bad idea to have, because teachers should be someone that children can feel safe with.
And so our parents should be the number one. What am I missing here? The idea of a teacher being a stranger is not what we want to have. So you're saying it could be dangerous if the parents find out. But it's not dangerous for them to go to a stranger who is a teacher that they're just beginning to know. They're only going to probably have them for 1 year and then move on to another teacher, but they should go to this person and tell them, excuse me, Miss Lagerfield, but I don't want to tell my parents, but I think I'm gay. Please don't tell them. Don't worry, I won't. Here, read this book.
Yeah.
They're the parent while they're not with their parents. So I think that kids should feel safe around their teachers. I always felt safe with my teachers.
Right, me too. I never had a teacher that I felt unsafe with, but also their children. So how do they know who is a safe person and who isn't? I think the idea behind the bill is that only parents can interact with their children about sexuality, gender identity, or anything to do with that. But it's not the teacher's job to do that.
But doesn't that then mean that education is not okay?
I would say that, yes.
So do you think that children shouldn't learn about puberty and how their bodies develop and how their hormones make them feel?
It's not in a public school.
I don't agree with Caitlin Bennett on that. I believe that at a certain age, children are mature enough to learn about those things. And public schools have taught me and many other of my friends these same things, and we were fine. All right. And then in high school, I will also say this, in high school, they even gave us condoms. If they didn't, I probably would have been a father at the age of 15 or 16 or 17. So sometimes it's based off the age. Right now, they have kids who are 10 years old learning things that they shouldn't learn. See, and that's the one thing that I don't. Sometimes you have moments where you have to think a little bit outside of where you are. And that's just where Caitlin is right now. Me, I see benefit in it as long as you're at a certain age. Caitlin don't see it at all if you're in public school. I don't agree with that.
Well, that's kind of stupid. I think kids should know that because the parents aren't going to teach them that. That's why all of these like Republican kids have teen pregnancies and either kill the kid or just have a really unhappy life because they have a teen pregnancy when all they were taught was abstinence. If we have a more open education, I think that less teen pregnancies would occur, and I think that there would be less dangerous situations like that.
Okay, thank you for your opinion. I don't think it's the public school's job. I think that's the parents' job.
Okay.
And so that's my opinion. I think that's what the bill is going for. So, yeah. Anyway, you said he was a fascist. Any other examples of his fascism?
Real quick smile.
I think I'm done for now. Thank you.
All right. If you think of any more, you know where to find me.
Yes.
And as y'all saw, man, these are some great conversations that Caitlin Bennett was having. I haven't done a Liberty Hangout video in a minute. Hopefully you enjoyed that, and I look forward to seeing your commentary in the comments.